Hey warrior, pause. Don't scroll, don't escape, don't look away. Because right now, in this exact heartbeat, something inside you is calling. Not a whisper of comfort, but a battle cry. You can feel it, can't you? That quiet burning dissatisfaction. The sense that something greater inside you has been caged for far too long. It's not the world you're fighting against, it's yourself. The version of you that settles for less. The voice that says later. The comfort that numbs. The fear that keeps you small. You are at war, not with the chaos outside, but with the hesitation within. Every day that passes is another battle between who you are and who you could be. Between your highest potential and your most convenient excuses. And here's the truth most will never face. This war never ends, but it can be won. Marcus Aurelius understood this war intimately. He didn't write meditations for inspiration. He wrote them in the mud of battlefields, under cold skies, surrounded by death and doubt. His words weren't crafted for beauty. They were forged for survival. He wrote not to the world, but to himself. Reminders scratched in the pages of struggle. Notes to anchor his soul amidst the storms of empire. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. That's not a quote. It's an order. And that's what this moment is. An order to rise. Because you too stand in the mud of your own battles. The unseen wars fought in silence, where no applause exists, no audience cheers, and no one rescues you. You fight alone against the fatigue that whispers enough, against the endless lure of distraction, against the softness of comfort that kills your edge slowly, day after day. Epictetus once said, "No man is free unless he is master of himself." He didn't mean freedom from governments or chains. He meant mastery of the inner world, the thoughts, emotions, impulses, and fears that enslave you from the inside out. That's the war. And if you lose that war, nothing else matters. The enemy is invisible but relentless. It shows up as hesitation when opportunity appears, as anger when ego feels bruised, as envy when someone rises faster than you, and as guilt when you know you could have done more. The battlefield isn't out there. It's here in your mind, in your habits, in the stories you keep telling yourself. You see, strength isn't a destination. It's a negotiation, a daily one, between who you are and who you're becoming. It's a conversation between the weak voice that seeks comfort and the stronger voice that demands growth. Every decision tips the balance toward one side. Each day you either sharpen your blade or let it rust. And that blade is discipline, the sword of self-mastery, forged through pain, polished through repetition, strengthened by sacrifice. But a sword is useless without armor. That armor is resilience, built brick by brick through the walls of consistency, patience, and emotional control. Together, they form the fortress within you, your mind, the only kingdom you truly rule. But most men have abandoned their throne. They've surrendered to noise, to the constant pull of distractions, notifications, shallow entertainment, the digital fog that dulls the warrior spirit. They scroll through other people's victories, while their own dreams collect dust. They chase validation instead of purpose. They mistake movement for progress, noise for meaning, busyness for purpose. The Stoics saw this centuries ago. They knew humanity would always be tempted by comfort, always seduced by ease. That's why their philosophy was built not on feeling good, but on becoming good. Not on comfort, but on control. Not on escape, but endurance. Stoicism is not about suppressing emotion. It's about training it. It's not about becoming cold. It's about becoming calm. You don't build a warrior by keeping him comfortable. You build him through discipline, through adversity, through stillness. Every struggle you face is a test, not from fate, but from yourself. Will you break again, or will you rise differently this time? This is not another motivational speech. This is an awakening, a psychological blueprint for those who refuse to live numb. What follows is not entertainment. It's training, not tips, not tricks, but practices, unbreakable disciplines carved from the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, built for the modern battlefield of your mind. And before we go further, breathe. Yes, right now. Breathe. Because the breath is the first act of awareness. It's the bridge between chaos and control, between reaction and response. As you inhale, remember this: you are not weak. You are simply untrained. As you exhale, let go of the version of yourself that hides behind excuses. If this message stirs something inside you, if your blood hums at the thought of reclaiming your own power, then you're exactly where you need to be. Subscribe to True Stoic Way, not because it's another channel, but because it's a community of warriors rebuilding from within. This is where strength is forged, not in words, but in silence, in action, in repetition. From this point forward, you will not watch, you will practice. You will not seek comfort, you will seek command. Because your life is not waiting to be found. It's waiting to be built, deliberately, through 10 daily disciplines, the Stoic way of becoming unshakable. So listen closely, warrior. Don't skip ahead. Don't multitask. Every section that follows is a weapon, forged from centuries of wisdom and modern understanding. Miss one, and you enter the arena unarmed. Now, clear your mind, slow your breath, and prepare yourself. Because what comes next will not flatter your ego. It will challenge it. It will strip away illusion and replace it with truth. It will demand everything you are and everything you could be. The war has already begun, and today you begin to win it. Rule number 1, work on your mind every day. Your mind is your empire, and like every empire in history, it will either rise through discipline or collapse through neglect. Most people guard their reputation more than their thoughts. They build walls to protect their image, but leave the gates of their mind wide open to chaos. Every thought you entertain is a brick in your foundation. Every belief you repeat becomes the architecture of your reality. What you feed your mind with, in silence, in scrolling, in solitude, is shaping the person you're becoming. Marcus Aurelius understood this truth centuries ago. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Those words weren't poetic musings, they were battle instructions. Because Marcus faced betrayal, war, illness, and loss, yet still built calm inside chaos. He mastered not the world, but himself. That's the essence of Stoicism. The world can be noise, but your thoughts can remain a cathedral of order. Here's the psychological truth. Modern science now proves your brain is plastic. Not fake, not artificial, but changeable. Neuroplasticity means every thought you repeat, every habit you reinforce, every focus you sustain, literally reshapes the neural circuits in your brain. You are not just thinking, you are wiring. Every moment of worry strengthens the pathways of fear. Every act of discipline strengthens the pathways of resilience. Every time you choose gratitude over complaint, calm over chaos, presence over distraction, you're rewriting your mental code. Your mind is not a fixed machine, it's a living forge, and every day you're the blacksmith. That's why what you allow in matters. Feed it with wisdom, not noise. Guard it from endless comparison and digital poison. Refuse to let random negativity take residence in sacred space, because what lives in your mind rules your life. Imagine your mind as a gym. Every thought, every emotion, every reaction is a rep. You can train it with discipline, lifting the weight of discomfort, stretching through uncertainty, or you can let it atrophy in the comfort of laziness and distraction. Most people train their bodies but neglect their minds. They diet for the mirror but binge feed their thoughts with garbage. They scroll for hours, gossip endlessly, react emotionally, and then wonder why their peace feels fragile. A Stoic trains differently. He understands that strength doesn't come from avoiding struggle, but from conditioning the mind to face it. He treats meditation like a workout, journaling like recovery, reflection like strategy. He doesn't chase motivation, he builds momentum through mastery. Every day you must become both the sculptor and the sculpture. You must shape your thoughts with awareness, carve away the noise, polish your focus, and reinforce your mental armor. Because the world will test you, people will provoke you, events will blindside you. But when your inner world is calm, no outer storm can shake you. Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. That's not philosophy, That's psychological reprogramming. The Stoics were the first neuroscientists of the soul. They practiced negative visualization, imagining loss, failure, or pain not to suffer twice, but to prepare once. When you picture yourself enduring hardship, you train your brain to stay composed when reality strikes. The same circuits that panic in unprepared minds become tempered in yours. Think of your thoughts as soldiers. Every morning they assemble. You are their commander. You decide whether they march in chaos or formation. When you let your mind drift, your army scatters. But when you focus, through reading, reflection, or silence, your forces unite. And united thought is unstoppable. Train your mind to observe itself. Watch your thinking the way a general watches the battlefield. Strategically, not emotionally. When a thought of fear arises, don't surrender. Analyze it. When a wave of anger comes, don't drown. Study it. Each moment of observation weakens the chains of reaction. Over time, your thoughts become disciplined and your actions follow. This is the Stoic's secret. Control your thoughts and you command your destiny. Lose control of them and you serve as a prisoner in your own empire. The mind left untrained becomes a battlefield of noise, filled with doubts that whisper, "Not today," fears that echo, "You're not enough," and memories that replay pain like a broken record. But the mind trained daily becomes a fortress. Within its walls, peace is the ruler, and resilience is the law. You don't need hours of meditation to begin. Start with moments. A single mindful breath. A conscious pause before reacting. A written reflection at night. These are your push-ups, your squats, your mental repetitions. Over time, they compound into calm. And remember this, your mind is being programmed every second. If it's not you doing the programming, the world will do it for you. The advertisements, the opinions, the algorithms, all of them are fighting for control of your attention. So choose what you allow inside. Train it as fiercely as a warrior trains his sword arm. The Stoics called this daily mental work ascesis, spiritual exercise. It's not mystical, it's practical. They believed the mind could be disciplined like a muscle, strengthened through adversity, purified through reflection. And science agrees. Focus, gratitude, and discipline literally thicken the regions of the brain responsible for clarity and emotional control. So when life hits hard, when the unexpected arrives, when people disappoint, when plans collapse, remember, the mind you train today is the shield that will protect you tomorrow. Every day you work on your mind, you are building your fortress, the stronghold of true Stoic way. Now pause. Breathe in slowly. Say to yourself, "My mind is my empire. My thoughts are my soldiers. My discipline is my crown." Then get back to work, inside your own mind, where every great empire is built. Every day you train your mind, you build the fortress of true Stoic way. Rule number 2, work on your emotions every day. Your emotions are powerful allies, but only when you are the one in command. When they command you, even the smallest problem becomes an earthquake. When you command them, even the largest storm becomes a lesson. Every day, life will test your emotional balance. Someone will betray your trust. Someone will speak behind your back. You'll see others living the life you want and feel a sudden sting of envy. You'll lose something, a job, a person, an opportunity, and grief will come like a tide. The modern world amplifies all of it. Every scroll through social media becomes a battlefield of comparisons. Every headline a trigger. Every opinion a spark waiting to ignite your anger. But the Stoic doesn't run from emotion, nor does he deny it. He studies it. He learns to observe before he reacts. That's the difference between repression and mastery. Repression buries emotion until it explodes. Mastery transforms it into understanding. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." He was describing a psychological truth that neuroscience now proves. Most pain comes not from what happens, but from what we think about what happens. The amygdala, the emotional alarm center in your brain, reacts first, fast, and raw. It fires off fear, anger, shame, and anxiety in milliseconds. But the prefrontal cortex, the rational commander, is slower. It interprets, reframes, and chooses how to respond. When you don't train your emotions, the amygdala runs wild. You become reactive, impulsive, enslaved to every feeling. But when you strengthen your mind through awareness, reflection, and breath, the prefrontal cortex reclaims control. You start to notice the gap between feeling and response, and that gap is where your power lives. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." That's not denial. It's reprogramming perception. You can't control betrayal, but you can control its meaning. You can't stop disappointment, but you can stop it from defining you. You can't silence criticism, but you can decide whether to internalize it or let it dissolve in silence. The Stoic way isn't to erase emotion, but to give it purpose. Anger can become fuel for discipline. Fear can become a signal to prepare. Jealousy can become motivation to grow. Sadness can become the space where wisdom forms. Every emotion has energy. Mastery means redirecting that energy instead of wasting it. When you feel anger rising, pause. When sadness comes, let it pass through without anchoring to it. When anxiety stirs, name it. The act of naming emotion moves it from the amygdala's chaos into the prefrontal cortex's clarity. This simple shift, from reaction to reflection, turns storms into studies, pain into practice. It's not easy. Emotional control doesn't come from reading quotes or pretending to be calm. It's built through small daily battles. The argument you choose not to escalate, the insult you decide doesn't deserve a response, the heartbreak you face without losing compassion. Each of these moments forges invisible strength. Imagine yourself standing in the middle of a storm. Rain lashes your face, wind howls, thunder shakes the ground, but you stay centered. That's emotional mastery. You don't fight the storm. You become unmoved by it. Not cold, calm, not indifferent, invincible. Most people believe emotional control means silence or suppression. It doesn't. The Stoic feels deeply, but he feels clearly. He allows emotion to pass through like a river, not stagnate like a swamp. He knows he cannot always choose what he feels, but he can always choose what to do with it. That's real freedom. Freedom from being ruled by your own reactions. Seneca taught that emotions are like wild horses, powerful, untamed, and easily led astray. You don't destroy the horse, you train it. You ride it with patience, discipline, and purpose. That's what emotional control really is. Learning to ride your own storms without falling off. In moments of rage, remember, silence is your weapon. In moments of fear, remember, courage is your compass. In moments of sadness, remember, acceptance is your anchor. And when the world provokes you, when gossip spreads, when people judge, when life feels unfair, remind yourself, this is my training. Every emotional trigger is an invitation to grow. Every test is a mirror reflecting how far you've come. The Stoics called this prohairesis, the inner faculty of choice. It's the sacred part of you that no one can touch, insult, or steal. It's where your peace lives. Even when the world collapses, your prohairesis remains untouched. That's the essence of emotional mastery. Being untouchable, not because nothing affects you, but because nothing owns you. Tonight, when you reflect on your day, ask yourself, did I stay calm when tested? Did I respond, or did I react? Did I let someone else's chaos infect my peace? If you failed, don't punish yourself. Study yourself. Because every failure in control is a lesson in awareness. The Stoics didn't aim to be perfect. They aimed to be prepared. They knew emotions are teachers, not enemies. And with time, something shifts. The anger that once consumed you becomes a spark of discipline. The fear that once paralyzed you becomes a map toward courage. The sadness that once broke you becomes compassion for others still trapped where you were. That's transformation. That's evolution. That's Stoicism in practice. Stand tall and whisper to yourself, I am the master of my emotions. They serve me. I don't serve them. And if today you learn to pause before reacting, even once, if you learn to breathe before speaking, to observe before judging, to choose calm over chaos, you're already walking the Stoic way. Rule number 3. Work on your discipline every day. Discipline is love, the highest form of it. Not the love that flatters or comforts, but the kind that corrects, refines, and protects your future from your weaker self. Most people think discipline is punishment. It isn't. It's the purest form of self-respect. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you're saying to yourself, I am worth the effort. Without discipline, even the greatest dreams die quietly. It doesn't matter how talented, inspired, or ambitious you are. Without consistency, you'll always be restarting from zero. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, remind yourself, I have work to do as a human being." That's the Stoics' creed. Not comfort, but duty. Not excuses, but execution. Discipline is love expressed through action. It's what turns ideas into identity. It's the bridge between who you are and who you're meant to become. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be consistent. You don't need motivation. You need momentum. Motivation fades, but discipline stays when the fire burns low. Here's a truth that modern psychology now confirms. Your brain builds trust in you the same way a person would. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, your mind learns to believe your own word. Each time you break one, your brain records betrayal. That's why micro-commitments matter. They're not small, they're foundational. When you wake up and do what you said you'd do, even something simple, like drinking water before coffee, or writing a single sentence for your goals, you're laying down neural tracks of integrity. You're training your subconscious to obey your higher self. These small invisible victories build the muscle of follow-through. Over time, that muscle becomes unstoppable momentum. Most people wait to feel ready. But feelings are liars. Feelings crave comfort. Discipline craves growth. Feelings want what's easy now. Discipline demands what's right later. Every morning the mind will negotiate. 5 more minutes. 1 more episode. I'll start tomorrow. That's not laziness. That's fear in disguise. Discipline doesn't debate with fear. It moves through it. When you choose long-term vision over short-term pleasure, you reclaim your power from the animal mind. The part of you that wants only comfort, pleasure, validation, and ease. The Stoic trains the opposite part, the rational mind, to lead, to see beyond impulse, to act, not react. Think of a craftsman shaping marble, a musician practicing scales, or an athlete training before dawn. Their success isn't built on passion, it's built on pattern. They show up when they don't feel like it. They work when no one's watching. They repeat the same motions 1,000 times until excellence becomes instinct. Marcus Aurelius didn't wake up each day inspired to write meditations. He did it because he had to, because he understood that the act itself was the training. Each reflection was another strike of the hammer on the iron of his mind. That's what discipline looks like, repetition that becomes revelation. Discipline also means saying no. No to the unnecessary, no to distraction, no to comfort disguised as productivity. Every no to weakness is a yes to strength. Every moment you resist the impulse to give in, you reinforce the belief that you command yourself. And remember, discipline is not glamorous. It's not a highlight reel. It's lonely, repetitive, and often invisible. But it's also sacred. Because in those quiet moments, when you rise early, when you push through fatigue, when you choose purpose over pleasure, you're writing the story of a warrior. If you can master discipline, you can master anything. Because discipline is what carries you through when motivation is gone. It's what makes the weak strong, the lost focused, the ordinary exceptional. Discipline is what lets you endure the grind of building something meaningful. The Stoics called it constancy, the ability to stay aligned with your values no matter how you feel, to keep your sword steady even when your hands shake, to act with integrity even when no one claps. Here's a secret. You'll never regret being disciplined. You'll only regret the moments you chose ease over effort. Comfort never made anyone stronger, but discipline transforms you quietly, completely, and forever. So start small. 1 promise, 1 habit, 1 act of commitment repeated daily. Don't chase perfection, chase presence. Each morning, remind yourself, I do what I say I'll do. And each night, review your day like Marcus did. Not with guilt, but with honesty. Ask, did I live by my word? Did I do what I said I would? And if you failed, good. That's your feedback. That's the forge heating up again. Failure doesn't weaken discipline. Avoidance does. So face it, learn, adjust, and strike again tomorrow. Every act of discipline is a silent message to your future self, the warrior you're becoming on true Stoic way. Because one day, when you look back, you'll realize it wasn't luck or talent that changed your life. It was the hundreds of silent, unseen moments where you did what was right instead of what was easy. So the next time your mind whispers, rest, quit, you've done enough, whisper back, I have work to do as a human being. Then move, and let your consistency speak louder than any excuse ever could. Rule number 4. Work on your purpose every day. Without purpose, you drift. It doesn't matter how skilled you are, how intelligent or how motivated. Without a clear why, every effort scatters like dust in the wind. You wake up, you move, you work, but deep down, you're lost. You're busy, yet directionless. Productive, yet empty. Purpose is the compass of the soul. It gives shape to chaos, meaning to pain, and direction to motion. Without it, you don't live, you merely exist. Most people don't lack time, they lack direction. They chase money, status, validation, but when they get them, they still feel a quiet ache. The haunting realization that they've climbed the wrong mountain. You've seen it before. The executive who has everything but peace. The artist who lost passion the moment the spotlight found them. The influencer who's loved by millions yet lonely within. Success without purpose is failure in disguise. It looks bright, but it feels hollow. It feeds the ego while starving the soul. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A man's worth is no greater than the ambitions he pursues." He wasn't speaking of ambition for wealth or recognition, but ambition of character, the pursuit of meaning through duty, virtue, and service. The Stoics called this living according to nature, not in the sense of trees or rivers, but in alignment with your highest reason and purpose. To live according to nature means to live as you were designed, rational, disciplined, compassionate, and in harmony with your deeper calling. You weren't born to chase comfort. You were born to contribute, to build, to grow. And that contribution, whatever form it takes, is your purpose. It doesn't need to be grand. It doesn't need applause. It only needs truth. Viktor Frankl, a man who survived the horrors of concentration camps, discovered this same Stoic truth through suffering. In Man's Search for Meaning, he wrote, "Those who have a why to live can bear almost any how." He saw people stripped of everything, food, dignity, freedom. Yet those who had a reason to live, a purpose beyond themselves, endured. While others broke, they stood. Purpose, Frankl realized, is not found in comfort, but in meaning. In choosing how to face life, even when life chooses pain. Your purpose may not come with fireworks. Often it whispers. It shows up in what you can't stop thinking about, in the problems that make your heart restless, in the pain that feels strangely sacred, as if it's trying to guide you somewhere deeper. Purpose doesn't appear when life is easy. It reveals itself when everything else is stripped away. Ask yourself, why am I doing what I'm doing? Not for approval, not for applause, but for meaning. What work makes you feel aligned? What actions make you feel alive? The Stoics taught that purpose is not something you find. It's something you create through consistent, meaningful action. To work on your purpose daily means to realign your direction every morning. To wake up and ask, does this path make me stronger? Does this align with my values? Does this serve something beyond my comfort? If not, adjust. The Stoic way is not about grand reinvention. It's about small, deliberate corrections that keep your life aimed toward virtue. Your purpose might evolve, from survival to service, from ambition to wisdom, but its core will always remain anchored in contribution, because a life lived only for oneself will always collapse under its own emptiness. The Stoics believed every obstacle was a teacher in disguise. The impediment to action advances action, wrote Marcus Aurelius. What stands in the way becomes the way. The very thing that frustrates you may be the seed of your purpose. The betrayal that hardened you may be teaching resilience you're meant to share. The pain that broke you may be the foundation for someone else's healing. When you reframe struggle as the sculptor of purpose, nothing is wasted. Every loss becomes instruction. Every failure, refinement. Every setback, redirection. This is how the Stoic transforms suffering into service, by asking not, "Why me?" but, "What now?" Purpose doesn't mean you have every step mapped out. It means you keep walking even when the path disappears. It means you trust that meaning is forged, not found. It means you keep showing up when motivation dies, because purpose doesn't rely on mood. It relies on mission. Each day, do one thing that aligns with that mission. Read to grow your mind. Serve to expand your heart. Create something that outlasts your fear. Every action becomes a thread in the tapestry of your purpose. Over time, it weaves a life of direction and depth, one you don't need to escape from. Remember this: purpose gives meaning to pain, strength to struggle, and dignity to discipline. It turns ordinary days into sacred duty. It transforms "I have to" into "I get to." It shifts you from existing by chance to living by choice. So before you chase the next goal, pause. Look inward. Ask if the pursuit feeds your ego or your essence, because one will fade and the other will fulfill. Close your eyes for a moment and whisper to yourself, "I'm not here to drift. I am here to build. My work is my purpose. My discipline is my devotion." True Stoic way isn't about chasing fame. It's about finding purpose in discipline and meaning in struggle. Now take a deep breath. Look at your life. Find the why that makes your heart steady, your eyes focused, your steps unshakable. Then rise and build your purpose brick by brick, day by day, until even the storms start bowing to your direction. Rule number 5. Work on your self-control every day. Freedom is not the absence of rules. It's the mastery of yourself within them. That's what the Stoics meant by freedom through control. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." You can have power, wealth, or fame, but if you can't control your tongue when you're angry, your urges when you're tempted, or your reactions when you're triggered, you're not free. You're enslaved to impulse. Self-control is quiet strength. It's the power to remain still when the world tries to provoke you, to remain measured when chaos demands reaction, to stay grounded when pride wants to rise. Most people lose themselves not through failure, but through overreaction. They say too much, eat too much, want too much, or fight too fast. And in those moments, they hand their power away piece by piece. The Stoics saw control not as suppression, but command. It's not about denying your humanity. It's about directing it. The fire inside you can destroy or illuminate. It depends on who holds the torch. Imagine you're in an argument. Words rise to your lips, sharp and defensive. You want to prove a point, to win, to strike back. But then, silence. You pause. You breathe. You let the moment pass without spilling more chaos into the world. That pause is power. That moment between stimulus and response is where greatness lives. The untrained man reacts. The disciplined man responds. Or imagine desire, the endless chase for pleasure, attention, validation. The mind says, just one more. One more scroll, one more drink, one more escape. Dopamine fires in your brain, flooding you with temporary satisfaction. But soon after, emptiness returns. Because dopamine doesn't reward truth, only novelty. The Stoic learns to master that loop. He practices restraint, reminding himself that the pleasure of control lasts longer than the rush of indulgence. Modern neuroscience confirms what the Stoics already knew. Self-control isn't about denial, it's about rewiring. Every time you resist an impulse, your prefrontal cortex, the brain's command center, strengthens. Every time you give in, the reward system grows louder. Discipline literally changes your brain, making self-control easier over time. You're not fighting yourself, you're training yourself. The Stoics practiced what they called voluntary hardship, intentionally choosing discomfort to build willpower. They would sleep on the floor, fast, walk barefoot in the cold, or wear simple clothes, not to suffer, but to remind themselves, I control what I need, the world doesn't. When you willingly step into difficulty, you weaken desire's hold over you. You stop being a slave to comfort and start becoming the ruler of your own endurance. Try it for yourself. Skip the instant reward. Delay gratification. Speak less when you want to dominate the conversation. Walk away when pride demands victory. Each act of restraint forges another link in the chain of mastery. Over time, those chains no longer bind you, they protect you. Control your speech, and you'll control your relationships. Words once said cannot be unsaid. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, if it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining. Sometimes silence is the highest form of strength. Control your anger, and you'll protect your peace. When the flame rises, breathe before you burn. When insult comes, see it as training, a test of composure. Control your desires, and you'll find clarity. Pleasure is not the enemy, but attachment to it is. The more you crave, the more power you give away. A Stoic learns to enjoy without dependency, to appreciate without addiction, to take what is needed, not everything wanted. That's true wealth, not in having more but in needing less. Self-control also means knowing when to walk away, not from weakness, from wisdom. Because the one who can walk away is the one who doesn't need to prove anything. The world will call it indifference. You'll know it as freedom. When you detach from the urge to win every argument, chase every temptation, or please every person, you reclaim your energy for what truly matters. The modern world worships excess, more speed, more pleasure, more attention. But the Stoic finds power in limits. He understands that freedom doesn't come from doing everything you want. It comes from no longer needing to. Each act of restraint is a declaration of sovereignty. Seneca once wrote, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." The same is true of your attention. Every time you give in to distraction, you divide your power. Every time you hold focus, you expand it. Self-control is how you gather your scattered energy and aim it like an arrow. So the next time temptation calls, pause. When anger rises, breathe. When ego screams to react, smile. When comfort whispers, step forward anyway. These moments may seem small, but they build an empire of calm inside you. Control is not coldness, it's composure. It's being able to stand in fire without losing form. Because the true test of strength is not how loud you shout, but how still you stand. When you control yourself, you control your destiny. When you can walk away, you rise above. And that's what we practice here, at True Stoic Way. Rule number 6, work on your patience every day. Patience isn't passive, it's controlled strength. It's the quiet power of a warrior who trusts his training even when victory hasn't arrived. The weak demand instant results. The wise understand that everything real takes time. Growth, healing, mastery, love. All of it requires patience. The discipline to endure what others abandon. In a world addicted to speed, patience feels like rebellion. Everyone wants shortcuts. Fast money, fast healing, fast fame. They chase the illusion of progress while avoiding the process of becoming. But the Stoic knows, life doesn't move at the pace of your impatience. It moves at the pace of your growth. Seneca said, "Time heals what reason cannot." That isn't just about recovery, it's about maturity. Some lessons can't be rushed. Some seasons must be endured. Sometimes the universe is still shaping you in ways you can't yet see. Look at the craftsman who hammers metal thousands of times before it bends his way. The athlete who trains in the dark long before applause ever finds him. The artist who spends years perfecting one skill while the world forgets his name. They all know what the impatient never will. The delay is not a denial, it's preparation. Patience is a form of faith, not blind faith in fate, but faith in the process. In the Stoic philosophy, this is amor fati, the love of fate. It means not just accepting what happens, but embracing it as necessary. It's saying, this too is part of my path. The Stoic doesn't fight against time, he flows with it. He knows every hardship, every delay, every moment of stillness is shaping him for what's next. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "No great thing is created suddenly. The oak doesn't sprout overnight. It grows through storms, through drought, through unseen winters. The same is true for you. You can't rush wisdom. You can't speed through healing. You can't force mastery. You can only show up every day and give your best, even when results are invisible." Modern life tricks us into thinking that patience means doing nothing. But patience is not inactivity. It's precision. It's knowing when to act and when to wait. It's working in silence while trusting the timing of outcomes. It's holding the vision when everyone else has given up. Every moment you stay consistent while others quit, you're strengthening your roots. Every day you stay calm when life tests your pace, you're proving that your peace doesn't depend on external speed. Think about healing. Emotional wounds, heartbreaks, failures. They don't disappear overnight. You can't force closure. Healing is like sunrise. It comes slowly, quietly, one ray at a time. You won't notice it until suddenly you realize the light has returned. That's patience. Or think about building something meaningful, a business, a skill, a dream. The early stages are always thankless. No applause, no recognition, just long hours and quiet effort. The Stoic endures this stage with calm conviction. He doesn't demand immediate reward because he knows the journey is the reward. Patience is also emotional stability in disguise. It's what allows you to breathe when others panic, to observe when others overreact, to wait while others rush. It's the calm voice inside you that says, "Not yet, but soon." And when progress feels slow, remember, consistency compounds in silence. You're not stuck. You're solidifying. You're not waiting. You're preparing. You're not being delayed. You're being developed. Every season of waiting teaches endurance. Every unanswered prayer builds strength. Every unreturned effort refines character. Life is testing your ability to stay grounded when results haven't arrived. Because if you can't be patient in the process, you won't be strong enough for the outcome. The Stoics practiced detachment from timelines. They focused on effort, not outcome. They didn't demand when. They asked how. How can I endure this with dignity? How can I act with reason, even when nothing seems to move? That's real wisdom. The power to stay composed when the world tells you to rush. So when you feel frustration rise, take a breath. When results seem far away, keep moving. When you're tempted to quit, remember why you began. Every delay that tests you is preparing you. Every silence that feels empty is building your voice. Every season of waiting is forming the version of you who's ready for what's coming. Patience isn't weakness, it's wisdom wrapped in stillness. It's power disguised as peace. So stay steady, warrior. Don't curse the slow path. It's the only one that lasts. The river doesn't rush to reach the ocean. It carves its way there, one patient drop at a time. Breathe, trust the process, and whisper to yourself, "I will arrive when I am ready. I will not rush my becoming." Every delay that tests you is preparing you. Stay steady, warrior. Rule number 7, work on your silence every day. Silence is strategy. In a world addicted to noise, it's one of the last true superpowers left. Everyone is talking, shouting opinions, defending egos, performing confidence. But few are listening, and even fewer are thinking. The Stoic chooses silence not because he has nothing to say, but because he knows when words are useless. In an age of endless notifications, debates, and distractions, silence has become rebellion. The world equates noise with importance, as if volume proves value. But real power moves quietly. Real wisdom speaks rarely. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." In other words, don't lower yourself to chaos. Don't waste your breath proving your worth to those committed to misunderstanding you. Silence is not surrender. It's sophistication. A warrior knows the difference between noise and signal. He listens not just with his ears but with awareness. He knows silence sharpens perception, just as still water reflects more clearly than turbulent waves. Every great strategist, from generals to philosophers, understood the value of restraint. When you speak less, you observe more. When you observe more, you understand deeper. And understanding gives you the advantage that shouting never can. In the noise of the world, silence is your armor. It protects you from emotional traps, from the endless pull of reaction. When someone insults you, your silence disarms them. When gossip swirls, your quiet dignity unsettles the insecure. When chaos erupts, your calmness becomes a mirror exposing others' lack of control. Silence is not about doing nothing. It's about doing less but better. Think of the leaders who command rooms without raising their voices, the generals who wait before attacking, the philosophers who ponder before speaking. Power and patience are siblings, and silence is their shared language. There is a story that Epictetus once refused to respond to provocation. When asked why he stayed quiet, he said, "I am not compelled to demonstrate anger merely because you wish to see it." That's mastery, the ability to choose peace over participation. In silence, you conserve energy, you protect your focus. Every argument avoided, every gossip ignored, every pointless explanation unsaid. These are deposits into the bank of your mental strength. The Stoic doesn't seek to win conversations. He seeks to win control over himself. Silence also deepens your connection to the inner voice, the one drowned out by constant noise. When you turn down the world's volume, you begin to hear your own thoughts clearly. You begin to notice patterns, emotions, insights that were buried beneath distraction. Marcus Aurelius often journaled in solitude, not to broadcast his thoughts, but to understand them. His silence wasn't emptiness, it was introspection, in action. Try practicing daily silence, not just with your mouth, but with your mind. Don't fill every gap with music, screens, or chatter. Let stillness stretch. Sit with your own company long enough to understand it. That's where clarity grows. Silence doesn't mean absence of voice, it means precision of voice. When you finally speak, your words carry weight because they are rare, considered, and grounded in truth. The Stoic doesn't aim to speak often, he aims to speak effectively. And here's a secret most people never learn. Silence confuses chaos. When someone expects a reaction and you offer none, you become unpredictable. They can't control what they can't read. Your composure becomes power. Your restraint becomes reputation. So when anger burns, stay silent until calm returns. When happiness glows, savor it before posting it. When someone provokes, let their noise echo into emptiness. You don't need to explain your peace to those who profit from your reaction. In a world that rewards noise, choose depth. In a culture obsessed with expression, master reflection. Speak only when your words will improve the silence. Because real power doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need to. It simply moves, builds, and arrives. Be like still water, calm, reflective, unstoppable. Let your silence unsettle those who rely on chaos. Let your stillness become your strength. And when you do speak, make it count. Speak truth, speak wisdom, speak purpose. Let your silence speak louder than noise. Share this truth through true Stoic way. Rule number 8. Work on your gratitude every day. Gratitude transforms perception. It's the art of shifting your gaze from what's missing to what's already here. When you forget what you have, you begin to chase what you don't need. But when you practice gratitude, even ordinary moments turn sacred. The Stoics knew this. Happiness doesn't come from having more, but from needing less. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." Gratitude is that way of thinking. It's not naive positivity or pretending everything is fine. It's the clear-eyed realization that every breath, every sunrise, every challenge survived is a gift. Modern psychology calls this positive reappraisal, the ability to reframe your experience. Studies show that gratitude literally rewires your brain. It strengthens neural pathways linked to joy, resilience, and emotional balance. Each time you acknowledge what's good, you teach your mind to look for strength instead of scarcity, peace instead of panic. Gratitude is mental training, the Stoics' daily ritual for stability. The untrained mind sees lack everywhere. It says, "I'll be happy when." But the trained mind says, I'm already blessed, and because I see it, I can build more. Gratitude doesn't make you passive, it makes you powerful. It shifts you from victimhood to agency. When you see life as a gift, you stop waiting and start creating. Even the harshest moments can hold something worth appreciating. The Stoic thanks hardship for sharpening him, betrayal for teaching him discernment, failure for humbling his pride. Seneca wrote, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." Gratitude is wisdom in motion, the ability to turn loss into lesson and lesson into growth. Try this. Each morning before reaching for your phone, name 3 things you're grateful for. Not grand things, simple ones. A quiet morning, the ability to learn, the chance to begin again. Then, each night, write 1 sentence about something that made you smile. These are small acts, but they accumulate. Over time, your brain stops hunting for problems and starts recognizing peace. Mindfulness deepens this practice. When you eat, taste fully. When you walk, notice the ground. When you speak, mean it. Gratitude is not only a thought, it's attention in action. The more aware you are, the richer life feels, because presence turns moments into meaning. Gratitude also softens the heart. It reminds you that everything you take for granted, health, love, time, is temporary, and that realization doesn't bring fear, it brings reverence. When you live with gratitude, every hello carries warmth, every goodbye carries grace. You stop clinging and start cherishing. The Stoics practiced this daily. They would visualize loss, not to suffer, but to awaken appreciation. Imagine losing what you love, just for a moment. Then look around. The same things suddenly glow brighter. The same people feel more precious. That's gratitude. The awareness that nothing is promised, and therefore everything is worthy. Before you chase more, pause. Look at your life. You've already survived storms that once terrified you. You've already built strength you once begged for. You're already standing in the middle of what you once prayed to reach. Gratitude doesn't make life easier. It makes it meaningful. It transforms chaos into clarity, ambition into appreciation, survival into serenity. It's not about ignoring pain. It's about remembering joy exists alongside it. So today, slow down. Take 1 deep breath. Whisper to yourself, I have enough. I am enough. This moment is enough. And when the world pushes you to want more, smile, because you know better. Before you chase more, pause, and be grateful that you found the true Stoic way. Rule number 9, work on your character every day. Character is who you are when no one's watching. It's the invisible backbone of every decision, the quiet proof of what you truly believe. In a world where image shouts louder than integrity, character is the one thing that cannot be faked, because it's not built in public. It's forged in solitude, in the silent choices that no one will ever see. Marcus Aurelius led armies across muddy frontiers, surrounded by betrayal, disease, and death. Yet every night, under the dim light of a military tent, he wrote meditations, not for the world, but for himself. He didn't use his power to preach virtue. He used discipline to practice it. When anger rose, he wrote of patience. When despair whispered, he wrote of duty. His empire tested his crown, but his character guarded his soul. Seneca, exiled from Rome and stripped of influence, faced a similar test. The philosopher who once advised emperors now sat in silence on a distant island, alone with his thoughts. Yet he wrote letters of strength, compassion, and endurance, not bitterness. I am never alone, he said, when I am with my thoughts. That is character. When the world removes your titles, and you remain yourself. The Stoics believed that virtue was the highest good, not wealth, not pleasure, not status. They measured success not by how the world saw them, but by how they saw themselves. Character to them wasn't about performance, it was about alignment, the harmony between values and actions. Ask yourself, when no one is there to praise or condemn, who are you? Do you keep your promises when it's inconvenient? Do you stay honest when no one could catch the lie? Do you choose what's right, even when it costs you comfort? These are the hidden moments where your legacy is written. In our modern age, integrity faces new trials. We live in a culture of masks, filters that perfect faces, platforms that reward pretending, trends that tempt people to trade authenticity for attention. It's easy to look virtuous. It's harder to be virtuous. The Stoic refuses to play that game. He doesn't chase impressions. He cultivates principles. He doesn't live for applause. He lives for alignment. Character today means saying no when yes is easier. It means admitting fault in a world that glorifies blame. It means holding your word sacred in an era where promises expire overnight. Real strength is moral consistency, being the same person in the dark as you are in the light. Every day, life will offer shortcuts, opportunities to cheat, exaggerate, manipulate. But each time you refuse, you polish your soul. Each time you choose integrity over convenience, you strengthen the armor around your peace. Because a clear conscience sleeps deeper than a rich man's bed. Epictetus said, "First, tell yourself what kind of person you want to be, then do what you have to do." That's the blueprint. Define your values, then live them relentlessly. Don't wait for approval. Your character is its own reward. Remember, success fades, beauty fades, applause fades. But who you are when all of that is gone, that's eternal. The Stoic doesn't fear being misunderstood. He fears being insincere. His goal is not to impress, but to express virtue through action. When you speak, let your words carry honesty. When you work, let your effort reflect integrity. When you love, let it be pure, not possessive. When you fail, rise without excuses. That's character, not perfection, but persistence and virtue. So live as if your soul were transparent, because it is. The world may not see every choice, but your mind does, and it remembers. Character is not about reputation. It's about alignment between your thoughts, your words, and your actions. In a world obsessed with image, stand for character. Stand with the true Stoic way. Rule number 10, work on your inner peace every day. Peace is power, not the fragile calm that depends on silence, but the deep stillness that remains even when the world screams around you. The Stoics called it ataraxia, a state of inner tranquility, unshaken by fortune or misfortune, pleasure or pain. It is not apathy, it is mastery. Of the mind, of perception, of the nervous system that governs both. Most people spend their lives chasing peace in the wrong places, in money, status, love, escape. They think peace will come when they fix everything outside. But Stoicism turns that illusion upside down. Peace doesn't begin when the world calms down. It begins when you do. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions than your own soul." That's the battlefield where true calm is earned. You can change countries, change jobs, change relationships. But if you never change your inner dialogue, you'll carry your chaos everywhere. Peace is not passive. It's the discipline of returning to your center no matter what happens. It's standing inside the storm without letting it pull you apart. It's smiling when life tests you, staying grounded when others panic, and forgiving when anger would feel easier. Peace is not escape. It's command. The science now echoes the Stoics. Your nervous system shapes your perception of reality. When your breath is shallow, your heart races. Your mind narrows. Fear rules. But when you slow your breathing, your body signals safety. The prefrontal cortex, the rational mind, regains control. Mindfulness literally rewires your brain to remain calm under stress. Each breath you take consciously regulates the storm within. The Stoics practiced this centuries ago, not by name, but by habit. Deep breathing, reflection, silence. They were training the nervous system long before psychology gave it language. You see, peace is not found through control of life's events. It's found through control of attention. You can't choose every situation, but you can choose what you focus on. You can choose to interpret pain as punishment or as preparation. You can choose to dwell on insult or let it dissolve. Every thought you redirect is another thread in the fabric of your inner stillness. The Stoics lived surrounded by war, betrayal, disease, and death. Yet they wrote about serenity, balance, acceptance. That wasn't denial, it was strength. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire while losing children, fighting plagues, and watching men he trusted turn against him, yet he still wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Inner peace is not the absence of struggle, it's the presence of understanding. When you stop resisting what is, you begin to master what will be. The Stoic calls this acceptance amor fati, to love your fate. Not merely to endure it, but to embrace it as the very training that strengthens you. Modern science calls it resilience, the ability to recover from stress without collapsing. Mindfulness trains it, Stoicism lives it. When you meditate, when you reflect, when you pause before reacting, you are regulating not just your thoughts but your biology. Your heart rate slows, your stress hormones drop, your mind clears. You move from chaos to clarity, from survival to sovereignty. Try this. Each morning before touching your phone, take 3 slow breaths. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. With each breath, imagine you're reclaiming your energy from the noise of the world. Imagine that every exhale releases something you no longer need: resentment, tension, fear. In that moment, you've already won the first battle of the day, the battle to protect your peace. Throughout the day, practice stillness, not withdrawal, but awareness. When conflict arises, don't rush to defend. When things go wrong, don't rush to fix. Step back, observe, ask, what is truly within my control right now? Most of the time, the answer is your response, and that's enough. Because peace is not the absence of motion, it's motion with balance. It's the dancer's grace in chaos, the soldier's breath before the charge, the philosopher's calm in debate. It's the art of meeting the world without losing your center. When people gossip, stay calm. When life delays your goals, stay focused. When the world feels unfair, stay grateful. That's Stoic peace. Calm, not because everything is perfect, but because you no longer require it to be. Ataraxia, tranquility, isn't coldness. It's warmth under control. It's the quiet power that allows you to walk through noise untouched. It's the kind of peace that cannot be stolen because it doesn't depend on permission. Each breath you control is a step toward mastering life. This is the heart of the true Stoic way. So breathe, warrior. Slow, deep, intentional. Let calmness fill the space that fear once ruled. Let patience take the place of panic. Let stillness be your rebellion against the chaos of the world, because the one who can stay peaceful when everything falls apart, that one is truly powerful. That one has mastered not just life but himself. And when you reach that point, when your peace becomes unshakable, you'll realize you no longer need to conquer the world. You've already conquered your own. Final reflection, the daily forge routine. And now, warrior, take a breath. Let the noise fade. You've walked through 10 disciplines, 10 weapons, 10 acts of daily mastery. Together, they form not just a list of principles, but a ritual, your daily forge routine. Because each day, whether you realize it or not, you are standing at the forge. The fire is life itself, the hammer is your will, and the metal being shaped is you. Every morning you rise, you make a choice, to sharpen your edge or let it dull, to train or to drift, to build or to break. You are either forging strength or surrendering it. That's the hidden truth the Stoics knew. There is no neutral day. Every sunrise is a test. Every challenge, a chisel. Every choice, a strike of the hammer shaping who you become. So remember the path you've walked. Work on your mind, because your mind is your empire. The thoughts you allow in today will command you tomorrow. Guard them like sacred territory. Work on your emotions, because emotions are powerful servants but terrible masters. Observe them, command them, transform them into discipline. Work on your discipline, because love for yourself is proven through action, not promises. Keep your word, even when no one's watching. Each small act of consistency is self-respect in motion. Work on your purpose, because without direction, all strength decays into distraction. Build something that outlives your comfort. Turn pain into meaning. Turn struggle into service. Work on your self-control, because freedom doesn't mean doing what you want. It means no longer needing to. The warrior who can walk away, that's the one who has already won. Work on your patience, because time is the blacksmith of greatness. Every delay, every silence, every unanswered moment is preparing you. Stay steady in the fire. Work on your silence, because silence is strategy. Speak less, see more, and let your calmness confuse the chaos. Power doesn't need to shout. It simply moves. Work on your gratitude, because gratitude transforms perception. The moment you see how much you already have, the world stops owning you. Work on your character, because what you do in the dark defines you in the light. In a world obsessed with image, choose integrity, and work on your peace, because peace is not weakness, it's power. It's the calm command that says, I can't control the world, but I can control myself. Together, these 10 principles are not motivation. They're maintenance, the daily sharpening of the soul. The Stoics never promised an easy life. They promised an earned one. A life where you suffer less by learning to suffer well. A life where discipline replaces doubt, where purpose silences fear, where peace outweighs pride. You don't need to do all of this perfectly. You just need to begin, again and again every day. That's the essence of the true Stoic way. Every sunrise is another invitation to practice. Every setback, another test of patience. Every silence, another lesson in strength. And each time you choose growth over comfort, you rise higher. Maybe you've spent years running, from failure, from fear, from yourself. But that ends here. This voice found you for a reason. You were meant to hear this message now, in this exact moment. Because deep inside, something ancient still remembers who you're supposed to be. The disciplined, calm, unshakable version of you waiting to return. If this voice found you today, it's because you're meant to rise. Subscribe, stay, and build your unshakable self, here, on True Stoic Way. This is not just a channel, it's a forge, a place where men and women rebuild themselves in silence, through practice, through pain, through purpose. When you come here, you're not watching, you're training. You're stepping into the lineage of warriors and philosophers who faced chaos and turned it into clarity. So tomorrow, when you wake, before touching your phone, before stepping into noise, pause, take a breath. Repeat the affirmations that realign you with your inner fortress. Every day I am becoming stronger, calmer, and wiser. My peace is my power. I am the architect of my soul. These are not empty words. They're commands to your subconscious. Every repetition rewires you. Every affirmation reaffirms your direction. Because you were not born to drift. You were born to build. And the building never stops. You build when you stay calm under pressure. You build when you choose silence over reaction. You build when you practice gratitude while the world complains. You build when you stay disciplined even when no one claps. That's the daily forge routine. It's not about grand gestures. It's about small victories. It's not about perfection. It's about persistence. It's not about the noise of the world. It's about the quiet strength within you. There will be days you feel tired, days when nothing seems to move, days when the weight of the world feels unbearable. Those are not signs of failure. They are the forge testing your endurance. When the fire burns hottest, that's when the steel becomes strongest. And one day you'll look back and realize everything you thought was breaking you was actually building you. The pain, the silence, the waiting, the rejection. Every one of them was shaping the armor of your soul. That's what Stoicism is. Not cold detachment, but courageous acceptance. The power to meet life on its terms and still stand tall. So from this moment on, live deliberately. Think clearly. Speak rarely. Act with conviction, and protect your peace like a sacred flame. Because one day the noise will fade, the lights will dim, and what will remain is not your image, but your essence. not your trophies, but your truth. And when that day comes, may your soul whisper with calm certainty, I lived as a warrior of mind. I mastered myself before I mastered anything else. Now breathe. Inhale, discipline. Exhale, doubt. Let the silence settle. Let the world disappear for just a moment. You are home, inside your own strength. And as you stand there, remember, every day you rise, you forge. Every day you forge, you evolve. Every day you evolve, you become unshakable. This is your path. This is your forge. This is the true Stoic way.